was only half a man. I was only halfway there, until you showed me you cared. Said you wanted to share your life with me. And from that moment I knew. And when I look in your eyes, baby girl, you complete me. That's why I sincerely want you to know that your heart fills my soul. And it's because of you. And because of you I grew up and finally found myself.
So first of all, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me. You're in California. Where are you?
I'm an Oklahoma boy. I'm a country boy.
Oklahoma. Okay.
Yeah. I'm from the South.
From the dirty South.
Yeah.
What time is it where you are right now?
It's a little after 6, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're not that far behind me. Okay, no. Cool beans.
Where are you at?
I'm sorry?
Where are you at?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, cool. I love it.
We're the other South.
Oh man, it's beautiful there. Yeah.
It is. I wish it was warmer.
Yeah. It was like 75 today in Oklahoma. Oh, it doesn't even feel like, I want the winter time. I want to be able to throw on the bubble goose. Oh, my big fat clothes.
No, I ain't feeling it. I'm like, take me back to the beach, okay?
Yeah.
It's cool wearing a swimsuit in winter. Let me just say that.
Yeah. I love the summer too. I love being out in the sun. I got to get my vitamin D.
Aw. Well, the good news is you got music for all seasons, all weathers. Like your newest single, I'm like, that's a timeless single.
Awesome.
You
like it?
I'm sorry?
You like it?
Oh, I love it. It's timeless. Like it doesn't, like when we think about how you started, like way back when we were not going to talk about how old I was when you started, but that was like the best music ever, and you still have that same cadence. So that's crazy to me that you still sound the same. So with your new single, and I'm just going to toggle backwards and then move forward. Okay. Let's talk about that, your newest single.
Okay. Just tell you about the song?
Yes.
It was inspired by my wife.
Aww.
It was a song about, basically, I don't say it in the song, but if you can read between the lines, I'm talking about trying to get myself sober and finding myself and, basically acknowledging that she loved me when no one else did. She saw the potential in me when I didn't even see it in myself. So sometimes when you are going through addiction or alcoholism, you're so lost. They say you've got to want to do it for you. Right. But if you're so deep in it, you don't care enough about yourself to want to do anything for you. You know what I'm saying? So you do it for the ones you love. And so for her and my daughters, that's why in the end I was like, of course we had daughters already, but they were babies. And I wanted to sing it as if we hadn't gone there yet. Kind of like, when they're born, when we do have children, I hope they're as beautiful as you are, sort of thing. Because I think a lot of people, even when you're in relationships and you have children, you get so caught up into those children, and you should, that you forget about the love that you have for one another and how special that was before they came along. And you don't want to lose that, because that's how you become best friends, in my opinion. So it was just one of those songs where I wanted to talk about the realness, but but in a way where it can still be romantic. So there was, if you listen to the lyrics, it gets into, me running around and doing the wrong thing and not living the way I should and giving her what she deserves. So that's what the song is about. It's just letting her know that she helped me find myself.
Aww. So then, and tell people the name of the song. I know we just jumped right into it because I had listened to the song like about 5 times before we got onto this interview.
Awesome. So you listened to it for the first time right before?
No, I listened to it before, but just to familiarize what you were talking about. You can hear a song, and if it's an R&B song, it's going to move you. But I wanted to know exactly what you were feeling in the moment that you sung it, because it's a beautiful ballad.
It was I was feeling all of it. I mean, the funny thing is when I hear that song, I see winter time. It feels like that seasonal kind of, you know, some people don't want to label a song or get it stuck in that, they want it to be like, you know, seasonless. I don't know how you put it, but when we recorded the song, Hamza and I, there was 2 feet of snow. It was a blizzard. Like they were shutting down highways. And I was like, come get me. I was on a mission to finish because we had started it. Mm-hmm. And I was up late the night before finishing the lyrics. And, you know, if you get high on wanting to finish a project or a piece, you just, whatever it takes to get it done. And so the snow was trying to stop us. And I was like, Hamza, come get me. I'll give you whatever I have to get. He's like, you want me to come get you in 2 feet of snow with ice on the highways? And I said, yes. And he did. So we made it count. So we recorded that song during like a blizzard. Mm-hmm. And so it just takes me to that place. Mm-hmm. And I was just really caught up between being in love and want to tell someone how I felt and feeling guilt and shame for the things that I had done. That's where the girl I tried to make up for all the things that I've done as a fool. And it was just I was trying to talk to her through my music.
Oh, well, you did. You reached her. You reached me.
Awesome. I'm glad you like it. It's a really personal song to me. And it's, you know, I've wanted to release it for a long time, but you know, you if you sit and wait for the right opportunity, it never comes really, mm-hmm. you know, and you just got to just jump in with both feet. And so when the movie came out and they said, we want to use it for the movie, I was like, that's a sign. We're going to put it out. So we just did.
That's a blessing. That's not just a sign, but your vocal speaks to that. Like now we're going back when Skate Palace from Charlotte, North Carolina, where your songs were bumping on the radio. Okay. So awesome. Sex You Up, one of the thirst trap songs of the year, and Me Amor. So tell me about the creative process for both those singles.
For I Adore Me Amor and
yes.
Oh, and Sex You Up?
Ooh, yep.
Sorry, was I not supposed to say that?
No, you're supposed to say it, but...
Well, you know, for that song to be the first song we introduce ourselves to the world with, it was tough because we were Christian boys. I was a Christian guy, you know, and I was young, so I was still a boy, you know, so I wanted to talk about certain things, but we were afraid to be represented or represent that way. So we had to clear to everyone that it was for a movie scene. That's what it was for. And so when we were asked to write with Dr. Freeze, which was an honor because I was a huge Belle Biv DeVoe fan. And so he had done a lot of, you know, Poison, That Girl's Dope, all those, he did those songs. Right. So about Sex You Up, and, you know, Christopher Williams turned that song down. Several artists actually turned that song down.
Wow.
When we were like, that's hip hop doo-wop. That's what we do with those harmonies. So we wanted to be all over that track. We were just nervous about it being a sexual song, you know what I'm saying? Because we considered ourselves good boys, you know what I'm saying? And we were just a little nervous, but we loved every minute of working with Dr. Freeze. The only reason why we got an opportunity to write on that song actually is because he was late to the studio, because he sent us the track with the hook and we wrote a version, but he also had a version. And so he wanted to come together and kind of morph. And what we ended up with was 2 songs, you know, the same hook, but 2 completely different styles of verses, which I thought was really cool. There was like the gentleman version, and then there was a little bit of risque version. So we kind of thought that was cool. We had no idea they were going to pick both versions and put them on, you know, one on the album and one on the soundtrack. So we were young and excited and just crazy excited to be a part of the business, you know. Right. And I Adore was actually inspired by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We saw them at a SAG-AFTRA awards ceremony. We snuck in. We were sneaking into things all the time. We didn't even have our deal yet. But we sang a cappella for them, and the first thing they saw was this multiracial group thing. And so Jam was like, hey, you guys need to do a biracial or a bilingual bilingual song. Like it would be really cool if you could do something with English and Spanish. And that's where we took that idea and we ran with it. We were like, let's do it. So that was the next project we worked on. It ended up being a hit for us.
And you wrote and produced that project?
Yes. Yeah. Hamza helped us. Hamza is from here and he would do the tracks and we would write all the vocals and lyrics and I would do, you know, arrange the harmonies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So you did say something interesting that y'all were sneaking into everything. Like you literally, every time I read up on you, I learned a new place that you had snuck into and performed for somebody. So like when you think about your hunger back then as church boys, did you ever think, okay, do I want to do R&B, rap? Do I want to stick with Christian? Like how did you transition into R&B or New Jack Swing music?
Well, the New Jack Swing happened just by moving to New York. Oddly, Royal Bayan, who was the production company that we were signed with, he was our manager brother. He was Teddy's mentor. I mean, according to Royal, anyway. So I don't. He's like he kind of brought Teddy up. So we were already working on that sound that was kind of well, it was already pretty much blown up, but we just wanted to sing. We wanted to be on anything that we could throw harmonies into. And what was cool about New Jack Swing was the tracks were raw. They had hip hop beats, but they had vintage, like old, like retro sounding bass and stuff in them, horns, you know what I'm saying? And so rappers loved those kind of tracks, but we loved those tracks because we could sing that doo-wop harmony on them. Right. And so like All for Love, I Adore Me and More, Slow Motion we did with Bootsy Collins. He actually played the bass. Man. A lot of people don't know some of the people we worked with were like people we grew up worshiping, basically. You know what I'm saying? Tell me if I talk too much and rattle.
No, like when I say this is the interview of the century, this is the interview that I like when I say grew up listening to, and when I thought I was grown and doing stuff I ain't had no business doing, we revert back to sex you up. So it's the things like that. So being able to speak with you is quite the honor. Please believe me.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So Crystal says she has a favorite song. If you look in the chats, did you see her chat?
You might have to refresh my memory.
All for Love was my fave, she says.
Wow.
So tell me about that.
That's one of my favorite songs now to do live. I hated doing that song when we first, I mean, I loved the song, but it was so poppy and bubblegummy. And, you know, you get a taste of fame and all of a sudden these boys want to be bad boys. We wanted to be like Belle Biv DeVoe or Jodeci, you know, like you wanted to have that kind of hard, and you can't be hard and do All for Love. That's just not so we thought you couldn't be like that. But then I started messing around because I'm like a DJ at heart. So I like playing with records. And I've got a new way actually of doing that song where I took a sample of the Ohio Players, put it in there and made, oh man, it's got like more of a 70s retro sound. That song's a lot of fun to mess with and do live. That was with Howie T. You know, Howie T was, oh gosh, I'm going to feel so bad if I can't think of the guy's name. There was a rapper that was Howie T's cousin, and I cannot think of his name right now, but when I do, I'll tell you because he had some hits. But Howie was a monster with the drums and the beats and the bass. So he was like I would say our favorite producer, along with like Freeze. There was Howie T, Hitman Howie T. He had a lot of hits back in the 90s, and that's what we loved about him was his big retro beats and drums, and he would just let us do harmonies all over them. Like we did a song with Little Sean. I don't know if you remember Little Sean. He had a song called Hickey's on My Chest, way in the 90s, or might have been 90, but we got to sing on his record because Howie liked our doo-wop harmonies. So we got anyway, we had a lot of fun in those days. That's what the 90s were about. It was a lot of fun. I feel like in a way we've gone backwards because back then music just beat down all racial boundaries. There was really, we didn't know about issues like that. We really didn't. We went to interracial schools, you know what I'm saying? All grew up together, and we didn't think about that. Like, should you do this or not do this? Should you sing this? Should you, you know, hang with these people? Or, you know what I'm saying? We were just a melting pot, and it was just about throwing parties and having fun, you know?
Right.
That's,
you know, you took the words right out of my mouth, because I wanted to know what you missed about the music from the 90s.
That's what I missed, is the fun, lighthearted, nobody took themselves too seriously, Digital Underground, Kid and Play. Like, it was just about being funny.
Right.
Like, in my opinion, that's the best way to break the ice with a girl. If you're trying to, you know, date someone or catch their interest, I always felt like if you make them laugh, then that's, the ice is broken.
Right.
You know, so be fun. Don't be too serious. Don't try to throw that player thing. Just be yourself. And I'm a big kid at heart. So when I would see Kid and Play and those guys doing their thing, it was like, I just wanted to be a part of that. Like, I want to go to school or college with those, you know, house party and all that kind of stuff. And it was a fun decade. It was a really fun time, you know.
I had too much fun.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I feel like a lot of new artists, I think, are chasing that now, which I'm not complaining about. Bruno Mars, and he came out with that album, and it just had 90s all over it.
Oh yeah.
And fun, and it was just like, wow. I wondered for a while where that went, you know. And I think it's kind of making a comeback a little bit, which I'm excited about.
Well, you have to be very creative to tap into that type of R&B where it is fun and not just innuendos, you know. Or what's that? What do they use? That voice box for everything now?
Not talk box, auto tuning.
Auto tunes, yes.
Yeah.
So
if you use it, they burn it out for a long time. But I'm kind of glad that they found a middle ground. Like, you can use it if you do it right, but you don't want to cover up every vocal you do. And like T-Pain, when he did The Masked Singer, blew my mind, because I was so happy for him, because I'm like, he can sing. He's got a voice. That was just a concept and a sound that he had. And I think people just tried to tap into that, and they way overdid it. It was on air. So I agree 100%. You want to hear real vocals. Let's go back to when people actually practiced
that part
and rehearsed before they went in. And like, you know, you go in, and we would do take after take after take. And when you do that many takes, by the time you get ready for a tour, you're groomed, because you've spent hours daily in the studio recording. Now people will go in and just blah, 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 and then put the auto tune on it, and it'll force itself into a key.
Right.
And it's like, it works sometimes, but when it's forced and just not, you know, you got to use your artistic influence and get in there and put some work and some time in. Don't just turn it on and just sing any note because you know that the computer's going to fix it. We need some real soul, you know.
Man, so you are refreshing to the R&B ears, okay? To the R&B ears. So, and that's my question too, because like I said, with your single, it's very refreshing. Your vocals are the same. Here we are over 20 years from where you made those previous cuts. So I'm like, dang, I remember Patti LaBelle saying she lost her vocals at some point in time, and then she got them back. So with you, what happened with you?
Well, you do lose vocals. You lose confidence, you know, when you're not on the top, and then you're dealing with, you know, alcoholism and addiction issues and mental health, and just, it was a struggle there for a lot of years. And when you lose confidence in yourself, you can lose it for a while, but you gotta have faith and believe in yourself. And I feel like, I mean, and I honestly believe this, I don't want to ever sound like I'm preaching to anyone, but when you're doing it for the wrong reasons, sooner or later, it's going to come to a stop.
That part.
But if you're wanting to find yourself and you're wanting that confidence, you've got to do what you were put on this planet to do, you know, live right, have a good heart, try and help people. But how can you help people until you help yourself? You can't go and help people if you're not living right yourself. So
that's right.
I did was I just decided to stop using things that had happened to me in my youth and growing up as an excuse to drink or hate or be angry all the time, you know, because it's a very narcissistic disease, to be honest with you. When you're in alcohol or addiction, you want to use any and every excuse to validate why you're doing it. Okay. And so what that does is, I mean, you're turning yourself off, you're turning everybody off around you. And what I had to learn was you had to get out of self and start thinking about others. And then you could start learning how to live and doing the right thing and stay sober, you know, because like, wow, do I want to continue to do this and just run everybody that loves me off and set this horrible example for my daughters? Or do I want to get right? So if they ever struggle, they can see that a person can hit rock bottom and struggle and lose believing in yourself and get that back. You know what I'm saying? Because that's probably the best lesson you could teach your children is it's okay to mess up, but you've got to pick yourself up and do it until you can do it right. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. I love it. I just love that you preach the word. Like anytime you want to preach the word, come to me. Okay. So this is my last question. I have two. Are you working on any other projects? You talked about a movie score, so elaborate on that briefly.
There is the song Because of You is actually in a movie called For the Love of Money. It's got Carrie Hilson, Cat Williams, Keith Sweat, and kind of, I feel like right now it's kind of under the radar a little bit, but it was an all-black cast. It was filmed here in Oklahoma, which is where I was born and raised, which is really cool. Right. And the guy that put the movie together, Melvin Childs, when he came to me and Hamza and said he wanted to put this song in the movie, it blew my mind. Because I've been working on a solo project for a while, but I didn't want to release any of it until I was right. Because I'm like, point of putting this stuff out where I feel like I'm trying to put positive messages into my music if I'm not right, you know, in the curtains. So I just been holding on to it. Like when I'm gonna get myself together, and finally it just clicked. Better late than never. And so I've been just finishing up projects and songs. So I have material for an entire album right now, but I've been holding on to it and I'm busting at the seams to put it out because I'm excited about life again, because I'm finally speaking for myself and doing for myself. I spent so many years being that team guy and making sacrifices and doing things for the good of the group. But I felt like there came a time when I wasn't getting anything in return anymore. And so we all just kind of moved into, which is a positive thing. I mean, like I talked to Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas. And one of the things that I love about because he's Native, I'm Choctaw Indian. I don't know how many people out there know that, but I'm Choctaw, like for real. That's my tribe. He talks about the Black Eyed Peas and how that is an awesome thing in his life, but that doesn't define him. That's what he does when he's with his boys and, you know, his girl, and, you know, when they get together and get creative, they're the Black Eyed Peas, but he has an identity outside of that. And so now I'm just trying to show the world my identity and how I think and the way I record vocals and what I've been keeping inside and busting at the seams to get out. So I do have material. I'm just waiting on the right opportunity. I just shot a short mini documentary, a docu-mini, I guess, so to speak, kind of talking about, you know, my life and some of the issues I had, because the one last thing I would say, the reason why I want to do this is not to put money in my pocket. It's not because I want to be famous. I've been there and I've done that, and it's exciting. And for the youngsters that want to go and do that, more power to you. Go do that. Go live your dream. I'm in a place now where I just want to set an example, and I want to show people like Uncle Charlie and Uncle Snoop and these old school OGs. I'm not on their level, but I'm I'm an OG kind of sort of. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want to call you OG. I didn't want to do that.
I don't want to make it, because I'm not conceited, but I've been around for a while. And so instead of just disappearing, I want to leave a legacy for my family. I want to do some positive things that can show kids out there and young people that, you know, you don't have to give up. You can turn your life around. You know, I want to end on a good note.
And you're doing that as a legend. Okay. Whoop, whoop. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Leave your social media handle, or I can get it from Crystal, because I think you got to get
at BryanAbramsMusic.com.
Oh, and Bryan we got action.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I lost it there for a minute. I get emotional sometimes when I talk about some of this stuff, but it's really exciting, and I do really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I had a great time talking to you.
Thank you. We definitely got to get you back, because I want to tap in with the mental health and everything else that you battled going into the new year. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I was only half a man, I was only halfway there, until you showed me you cared, said you wanted to share your life with me. And from that moment I knew, and when I look in your eyes, baby girl, you complete me. That's why I sincerely want you to know that your heart fills my soul, and it's because of you. And because of you I grew up and finally found myself.